All right, you guys ready? All right, well, welcome everybody to the City Council Workshop, City of Lake City, August 18th, 2025 at 5 p.m. We are a couple minutes late. I think that we got everything going. But I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we will do, I know that it doesn't say here, but we'll do a quick pledge and invocation for this meeting, and then we'll do so again before the next one. So if you'll stand with me for a quick pledge and invocation. Lord Heavenly Father, thank you for another beautiful day in Lake City. And Lord, thank you for gathering us all together to learn more about the possibilities that we can bring to this community and have a fruitful discussion. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Jernigan,
Present.
Councilmember Harris,
Present.
Councilmember Young,
Here.
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Mayor Walker,
Present.
City Manager Rosenthal,
Here.
City Attorney Martin,
Here.
Chief Butler.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council has opened its public meeting. And since 1968, the code has prohibited any person from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing the City Council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct, and such conduct will not be tolerated. There is only one approved manner of addressing the City Council, and that's to be recognized and then to speak from the podium. As a reminder, persons are not to openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm while the governing body is meeting. Failure to abide by the rules of decorum will result in removal from the meeting. So we only have one item for discussion during this workshop, and after we have that discussion, then we'll open it up for public comment. Okay, that way everybody can learn and take in all the information together, and then we'll go from there. So, Mr. Rosenthal, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, we have Nick Narducci, our financial consultant, and we have Rick Gilmore, the attorney for the Housing Authority. I'm going to let Nick Narducci start it off for us. Nick, take it away. We need a little more volume.
Yeah.
Can you help IT with the volume?
I think the volume's good. Can you maybe move closer to the mic? Try it now, Mr. Narducci. Yeah, that's much better.
Better. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about all the things that Nick was talking about is things that we have discussed with you individually. But we also know that we're going to need some advertisement. So the next few folders, if you just go to the next slide, please. The next few things that we have is going to be, no, Nick is not the next slide. Do we have the slides in about the advertising? Container homes and apartment buildings? There you go. That's the right slide. So we realize that we're going to have to do some advertising. We want to put this on our app and get out to various parties. This explains to the public what we're doing so they can see whether at what point they want to participate. Also, we got something in more detail that we're going to use for the realtors so that they're familiar with our program. Well, the ultimate goal, as Nick suggested, was to get the property back into the hands of the private community. It's not, the intention is not for the housing department or the housing authority, whatever we decide to name it, to hold this property indefinitely. The goal is to turn it around. You can imagine one big circle with the funds and everything going around, funding new people for new opportunities. With that, I'll ask if there are any questions or concerns.
Let's so before, and if council's okay with this, we'll have public comment at this point, and give anybody from the crowd an opportunity to speak to this, and then we'll have council comments. Does that sound good? All right. Anybody in the crowd? We don't have any leaflets turned in. Mr. Phillip, anybody want to speak to, have any questions that they'd like to ask or come up and share their 3 minutes?
I do.
Yeah, come on.
Philip Mobley, and I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and address you. I think this, the concept is a great concept. I had an opportunity for about 8 years to serve on the Housing Commission in Jacksonville. I was the chair of the Housing Commission. And so the Housing Commission was similar to the Housing Authority as two different entities. But one of the things that we struggled with is when we tried to offer low-income homes to families that never owned homes, that we had to work with educating those people and getting them ready for home ownership. So I think one of the things that you need to incorporate into the planning here is how do you get families ready that's never owned a home, first-time homeowners, how do you get them ready for home ownership? And then the pride of home ownership. If we could do that, I think this is a win-win. The senior apartments and however you do them, this is, I visited several of them here in Jacksonville, Atlanta. They're just wonderful spaces. And we've had several people to come to the center from Miami looking for a senior place. And we had nothing to offer. And in fact, one lady ended up going back to Miami because we could not find the type of place available that she was accustomed to. So I think as our community change, as the growth, the projected growth comes to Columbia County, we need to think forward and make sure that we prepare for this. And I think this is these opportunities, these plans are just wonderful starting points for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mobley. Would anybody else from the present public like to speak? All right, hearing none, I will close public comment now, and we will move on to council and dais comments, questions, and yes, sir.
I just want to mention, Mayor, that the staff needs instruction to move on to the next step for this, because we want to, at some point, bring back an ordinance that actually empowers all of this.
Okay, we'll try to work toward that. All right, who wants to go first, Ms. Chavella?
I'll go first. First of all, I thank you, and I'm not dare gonna say his name because every time I say it, I mess it up. I don't know why I want him to be
Narducci.
Gucci.
Narducci.
Narducci. Thank you so much for that presentation. I just believe this is very well thought out, not thrown together. One of the things I believe is when we hear housing authority, it tends to take us back to the 80s, 70s. So the first thing I would like to see or hear is that we use a different name than Housing Authority. Let me say that I spoke with the city attorney as well as others. But I spoke with him to get some of his insight, being worked with different cities in our surrounding areas. And of course, he named two, shared with me, that's Stark and Baker County. And I'm just fortunate enough to have a lot of family, a lot of roots in those two places. So I were able to reach out to find that there were people that very close to me that I was able to get some valuable information of them with Stark, how a subdivision, and theirs is rent only. There's no purchasing in theirs. 4 bedrooms, I believe, 2 baths, all of them. Baker County, the one that Attorney Clay was mentioning, I wasn't aware of the name of it initially, but I did find that in that area they are clearing ground, and I actually went to the different properties to see, where they were putting them, and it would be in what we would consider low income. But I did find that they're not specifically low income, but they are habitat. And of course, that particular habitat does not cover Lake City, but to find that there is a habitat that covers Lake City. So there's a lot of different ways for us to reach out. This is, I think, the beginning. I believe we're on the right track. I think that the city manager and Mr. Narducci, I think they've worked very hard to come up with a plan. And I appreciate it. This is much needed, and as you heard in the presentation, that was the top number. That was the top item that we said as a council and Lake City that is much needed, and that's affordable housing. And I like how he said quality affordable housing. And if we look around in our community, we do have some housing coming up already. And with this, it's not too much. And we're talking to Mr. Rosenthal, there are just so many great opportunities. There are great opportunities for businesses. There's great opportunities I like the fact that there's great opportunity for local developers. So everyone will get involved here. And I like to look at the fact that it's relationship driven as well. So I'm excited about this. And I know even though we've gotten off to a good start, I know that there's much more work to be done. There's more time, quite a bit of more time to be put into this. And I just, my hat's off. We will have homeowners who have been probably waiting and praying to become taxpayers, renters, who will become homeowners and taxpayers. And we look at taxpaying as a hurtful thing to us. But there are people wanting homes, and they want to pay taxes. Why? Because that comes along with paying homes. Now, no way am I saying that we increase the taxes now.
Amen.
But it comes with the territory. So I'll pass the mic.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Mr. Carter?
Yeah, I have obviously I think that the intention of this and the goals are good. I have some worries about, and we talked about it in our meeting the other day. Kind of the presentation start. First of all, Mr. Narducci and Don, thank you for the presentation. The goal, the beginning of the presentation starts out with a no cost to the taxpayer, but then I see the potential senior housing and the condo with price tags of a combined $36 million projected. Obviously, I'm not sure that's a rough number. Is the intention to pay for all of that with municipal bonds? Is that how we're making the leap to no cost? And then if what is backing those municipal bonds? Let's say we get this project started and it starts to go south halfway through the building of an $18 million facility. That makes me nervous. Just the concept of us getting into what could eventually be the eviction business makes me nervous. I understand that prior to COVID, late 2019, 2020, the city, the county, the college, and a handful of other interested parties, including our region's homeless coalition, which is the Swanee Valley United Way, had a kind of a group or committee together and were working on pursuing ways to incentivize certain nonprofit developers to build some of these things. And then the city in that situation would not be building them, but helping incentivize private interests in building them. To me, that's a far more, I like that approach a lot better. So I'm a little nervous about how deep we could get into this financially. I'm a little nervous about the government taking over what fundamentally should, in my opinion, be a private enterprise. I do understand that obviously this isn't being done now by private individuals because in some of these constrained areas, maybe they don't see a profit. But I do think that we may be able to find some ways working with partners to incentivize those things without having to outright build them ourselves. I just see $36 million, and that's a pile of money. Makes me very nervous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I also have some thoughts. And like Mr. Carter, the $18 million, 18 times 2 really is a large number for me to think about, especially with the rate of defaults in multifamily currently across the country. I think the goals are great, right? So the programs, and I'm just going to go down them, turning abandoned homes into fruitful properties and houses for folks to live in and thrive in our community again. Container houses, if folks choose to put those on their property, or we can figure out a way to make those very attractive in part of our community for folks to live in safely and not have them degrade pretty quick, I think could be an interesting and unique part of our community that we could adopt and adapt to. Below rate market loans for home repair and for assistance to first-time home buyers, I think is excellent. And like Mr. Mobley mentioned, I think that part of that we could qualify folks with a pretty good level of education on credit repair, on home ownership, on all the potential costs and issues that come with owning a home, because nobody tells you a lot of those things until you're sitting in your home year one half and things start breaking and you're fixing and scrambling to do that. So there is a fair amount of education that needs to go into that, because you don't just buy a home and it's no more cost to it. There's pretty significant cost as it goes on and on. I love the idea of providing senior and veteran living in our community. Those are two large and growing populations that we have here. I think that, like Mr. Carter, I think that partnerships can be leveraged to achieve the ends there, rather than the taxpayer taking on the full liability in what is currently a little bit of a shaky market. I think that as a city overall, we have a real opportunity to build partnerships and create an environment that folks can come in and build, especially with some code enforcement on abandoned or overgrowing or untaken care of property, whether it's folks don't know it's their property because it was somebody's passed away, or by tax default, or something along those lines. As we come into abandoned properties, we level them out, we clean them up, we make sure that the zoning is good and appropriate for higher denser housing, and then we can partner with our local developers. And I don't know, I think that it's a very complex issue, though, right? So we could have a workshop on each one of these. We could have multiple workshops on each one of these subsects, because I could see where, for taking those abandoned lots and turning them into housing, what density do we want them at? Do we want to make them, 4 houses per acre there so that there can be more houses created, which could drive the prices lower for the developers? And then they're, a little more understanding or incentivized to lower the prices once those things are developed, and things along those lines. So these are my initial thoughts whenever we talk about housing authority and it being a department of the city. But those are 2 big bites, $18 million each, or 2 big bites. I don't know that my teeth are sharp enough for. However, I think that with partnerships, you could definitely eat that elephant with partnerships and create a really good environment for folks to come into Lake City or be part of Lake City and decide to take some ownership and grow their community. And we could be great partners with them. In fact, we have one here recently that just broke ground with an apartment complex at Sweetwater. So that's a good step. That's a good sign in our community. I'd like to see some more of that. So,
So
yes, ma'am.
if we have a question pertaining to, okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to respond to Councilman Carter when he said that I guess it was given the impression that it didn't have a price tag. We know everything has a price tag. And in today's time, it's a pretty hefty price tag. Mayor, I hear what you're saying, but sounds like to me you kind of name everything but affordable. Is it the affordable? Is that?
No, yeah, you definitely want to make it affordable for folks. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with affordable housing. I think first-time home buyers definitely need more affordable options. If you look at mortgage rates right now, a lot of folks are walking into those at $3,000-$4,000 a month on a $300,000 house, which is kind of crazy. It's not affordable. The housing market's not affordable right now. In a multifamily and some of those defaults happening, I think that there's affordability will come into play as that happens, but it's currently, we're not in an era of affordability. And if we can create an era of affordability, an environment like that, but decreasing the land costs in which the houses are built on, aka we take it, we clean it off, we get it all prepared for the developer. They don't have to incur those costs, and then there are some tax abatements that we can create on the back side of that, to where they're not having to put out money year. They could pass those savings on, and they should pass those savings on to the end buyer. So ultimately, that would make it thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more affordable for folks.
Absolutely. And when we say affordable, of course, that's my affordable may not be your affordable, of course. And we keep repeating education, but I believe that was a part of the presentation that we educate.
It was.
Thank you. Okay. I'll pass.
Good. I just wanted to outline some of that education that I think is, financial education is going to be a key component to this, and because whenever I became a homeowner for the first time, it was a massive education through experience, which wasn't all pleasant, but it was educational. Is anybody else? Ms. Harris, Mr. Trenigan? Yes, sir.
I'll go. I think Miss Harris. This is her project, and she's all on it. I just got a couple of questions there to Gucci Man.
Mr. Narducci.
Narducci.
He's Nick. You there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. I can't pronounce your name that well. Look like it's Nard U Gucci C. Okay, but anyway, when you say banks and loans, how many banks do we have out there? We just got one here in Lake City. Is it more in the surrounding areas? Is it in Chicago or New York? Where all these banks that we're going to be getting these loans from?
The bank we've been working with is First Federal.
Yes.
And, you have a lot of money invested with those guys. They've been very good to work with, and they committed to work with us through this educational program and through the loan incentive. So we strictly been working with First Federal. Don, did you have any comments on that?
Well, yeah, I wanted to really try to keep it local, and with First Federal, that they started out with us, and they've helped us from the very beginning. So my idea is to work with First Federal
Yes, sir.
as our primary lender.
Yes. When you said banks, I thought that was more than one, so
No.
I was just making sure that it was First Federal. So the builders that we use to build these different projects that you have out there, do you use local builders, or do we get those from surrounding areas as well?
Well, if I can, Nick, I think I can answer that question. My idea is to try to use local people as much as possible. I think that's a missing element out of what we have. We have new development come to town, and they bring the people with them to do the work. I like to see more of the people that are already in town that do the work, actually doing the work on the housing departments, buildings and things that we do.
Okay, you guys are the experts in this, and I think it's a well thought out project. And with you and our city manager putting something like this together, I think it's a well thought out project. So, I mean, I would like to see it be brought to the forefront, and maybe having a couple of we have meetings all the time, so just another couple of meetings on that, workshops, to make sure that we are giving the proper information. I read this information, a couple of times just to make sure that we're getting the proper information, and like I'm like Carter, and the mayor. They see $36 million, and that's a lot of money, and I know we have that First Federal Bank here, and they probably done made $36 million plus on us already. So. So maybe they'll give us that, instead of loaning that money, give some of that money back to us, So I'm all in. I just want to see the end results.
Pardon everybody, there's an Amber Alert that's hitting everybody's phone, I think.
Yes. I just want to see the end results, and I think it's a very, very good project that we can have here in Columbia County and Lake City, Florida. So let's see what happens.
Mr. Jernigan brought up a really good idea and question about the developers and the type of developers. I wonder if it would be beneficial to have a city-led builder symposium or luncheon, or where obviously this is a workshop and we would like for everybody to be here, but unfortunately there's I think 6 people from the public in the room, right? And with such a large movement of the city, I think that would be a really good thing. And I see the chambers here, but having a luncheon for builders and developers in the area to see if anybody would, what the interest would be in our community, our builder community on that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
If I may, Mayor, we could have Scott shop that idea.
Yeah.
He has a direct relationship with the Builders Association, and we could get some developers, builders in here and see.
And that's just for in my mind, the two projects, and see what their ideas on that. I think there are some things that we could probably implement pretty quickly, right?
Well, absolutely. With some of the basic things you talked about, putting new houses back on the market, we can do those things very quickly. But even the things with the bonds, we realize that the bond covers the cost.
Sure.
And so the bond would pay the cost back. But when you haven't done it before, that fear level is just natural. And we'll try to explain it in a way and work it in a way where it makes sense. And this is just the first meeting. As we work on it some more, we'll bring it back for another workshop. Mayor, I think your idea and talking to the Builders Association is a good one. We probably need to talk to maybe have the chamber involved and other people, but yeah, we can do that.
Mr. Jernigan, you had something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, just one last thing. I had a little note here, but I forgot what it was. But again, putting that faith and confidence in the city manager and the projects that he's trying to accomplish. I think it would always be very good to have everybody in the same room to talk about this. This video stuff that you do, I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong. I know I could see you plain as day. You know, even though I got bad eyesight, but I like to see you. And I don't think I've ever met you before, and that's not good for me. When you know we're talking about citizens here in Lake City and Columbia County, I like to see you here and let them get a chance to meet you as well, get a feel of you. I'm getting a feel of you through Mr. Rosenthal, and of course, he's a ball of fire. He wants to get these projects going. So, and that's the confidence I have in Mr. Rosenthal, that he's got the confidence in you, and y'all got together, and then we can accomplish whatever mission that it may be. But we have some interesting people here in the city of Lake City and Columbia County. So I'm an old school kind of guy. When I meet somebody, I like to shake their hand and, you know, get a feel of them. So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to put that out there, okay?
And just, if we may, just so you know, I don't believe in shooting from the hips in situations like this, especially involving money. So what I would do in each project, we would do a financial analysis of everything. And if the numbers say it's not a good idea, I wouldn't encourage you to do it. Sure. But if the numbers say we can do it with bonding, I would explain to you how that could happen, and we go from there.
Great. I think that Ms. Harris, did you have something? And it was okay.
So one question I did have on my note, and the mayor kind of touched on it, and I'm going to ask the city manager this. Oh, there was one concern brought up that Mr. Nargucci.
You got it.
Okay, so it is Gucci. Mr. Nargucci Mr. Nargucci, if I may ask, what state are you from?
Right, I live in Indiana.
You live in Indiana. Okay, that was a concern that was brought up. And I know our city manager is from Florida. So the question is, have you familiarized yourself with Florida's rules and regulations for planning and building such a project as this? Or will there be a Floridian specialist who will usher you through this process?
Nick, let me take a shot at that one too. First of all, this isn't one thing. This is a number of things that needs a number of experts. We rely on Clay all the time for legal expert. We have a specialist, Mr. Rick Gilmore, who's been authorizing or building housing authorities for 30 years. So we got with Clay and we hired him to do that. He's been instrumental in our success in that. So we're very confident with the level of expertise that we have. And it's not just Nick from Indiana, but it's Rick from Tampa, and he's been here 30-some years. I'm coming from Pasco County. I was in Pasco County for 10 years. Before that, Atlanta. Before that, Mississippi. So we've been around and doing this quite a bit.
Okay.
John, you may want to mention as well that the bond financial advisor we're using is PFM.
Yes.
PFM's a nationwide company, but they have a big presence in Florida. And they're, most everyone there, is from Florida and has lived there for a good number of years and has done a number of bond issues in the state. In addition to that, your bond counsel, Jolinda Herring, is with Miller, Bryant, and Olive, who's one of the premier companies to do bond counsel work in the state of Florida. So I work in a lot of different states, but I usually leave the particulars that are particular to that state to those experts in that state.
Okay.
And if I may, I realize that doing this kind of thing, as far as the financial is concerned, it's unusual for Lake City, but it's not unusual.
Right.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Okay. And when we leave this meeting tonight, what is your kickoff? What would that look like?
Well, what I want to do is I'm going to take the information that I got tonight, and we're going to refine it a little bit more. We're going to talk about it with each of you some more, and we got some outside people that we're working with that's going to help us a little bit. We also have a public-private partnership that we're working on right now. But the short answer is that we're going to refine it some more. We're going to come back. We'll do another workshop. The mayor suggested talking to builders. I think that's a good idea. And at some point, we need to talk to the general public. And all the while we're doing that, we're going to be refining it. I'm going to come to you with a final ask, and you're going to have to vote on it as to whether or not you want to see it happen or not.
Perfect.
So we're probably a couple of months out from that final vote, but that's what we're going to be doing in the process.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Carter?
I was just going to conclude my thoughts by saying I know I feel like there's probably a handful of pieces of what's been presented tonight that are things that we could partner with various entities to make happen or make easier for those entities to do what they're trying to do, like the loans and all the different things like that. So I'm not totally against this, but generally speaking, for me at least, and obviously I'm just one of five, I don't really think that governments ought to be developers, and I think our job is to make business easier for others, not business easier for us. And I also think, unfortunately, part of the thing that may make this work is the fact that a government doesn't necessarily have to make a profit. But, you know, that's not the system that we live in. Businesses have to make a profit. So in some degree, this feels like the sort of action, at least wholesale, that is taking away an opportunity for private business to succeed. So I'd like to see the end of all of this be us providing ways for businesses to do better. Another thing, and I would have to ask procurement to be sure, but one of the tricky things when a government gets into doing development and things like this is, though it may be nice to want to use local businesses, I think, and I'm not certain about the thing, so I can't quote the specifics, but I think the county ran into some trouble with this before as far as the idea of like who they pick and who they can exclude as far as who does work, whether you can exclude someone who bids when you put out a request for proposal. I think a lot of times governments get in sticky situations when they find themselves having to pick someone who isn't local. So that's just something to think about. And that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Ms. Harris?
I'm going to agree with Vice Mayor Young that the name change would, I think that will help a lot of people out. So
Okay.
they won't think it's
We can do that.
business as usual when you say housing authority. The second thing I would like to say, it is not just the city. County Commissioner Kevin Parnell will also, he's going to pull the county in to be a part of this as well. These are like the early stages of it, so just give us time. Mayor, you said how you eat the whole elephant. You eat it one bite at a time.
One bite at a time, that's right.
Bite at a time, and that's what we're going with. So I would like to say, I would love for this to go forward. I see the need. We had a couple of workshops, whereas we talked about the things that Lake City needed, and affordable housing was one of the main things each one of us pretty much said. So this is an opportunity that I think that Lake City should move on. And Mayor, I'm not sure if I'll be out of line or out of place, but I'd like to make a motion for this.
We're not, there's no motions tonight. We're just going to come to a consensus that, and Don provided a roadmap forward. So we'll trust the man with the plan, Don Rosenthal. I think that you have our full confidence on bringing us to a point where we can vote or we can move forward with some of the actions or how that looks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Jernigan, did you had something?
No, I think that's it. Just like you said, I got the confidence in the city manager right there and Noguchi to take care of business. That's it.
Does anybody else have anything? Yes, sir, Mr. Rosenthal.
Can I just mention to Rick that it's okay for him to leave the meeting now? I know he has another pressing meeting to go to. Thank you, Rick.
I just want to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully we'll be talking again later.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you for being here. I think that's all the discussion at the dais for tonight. Does anybody else have any further thoughts? All right, we'll see everybody back at 6 for our regular scheduled meeting.
Nick?